Hi, hello, and welcome back to F1 Challenge Career Mode. My name is Mephisto, and today we're heading off to Britain for round 10 of the 2002 Formula 1 season. Let's get started.
Located just a few kilometers outside of Northampton, the fantastic Silverstone circuit combines two fast straights with an enthralling selection of slow, medium and high-speed turns. Surrounded by the headquarters of the Jordan, Williams, Jaguar, Renault, British American Racing and McLaren teams, this disused airfield in the heart of Formula One's so-called Silicon Valley often plays host to one of the most competitive races of the season.
And we are here in qualifying. The weather is absolutely miserable here at Silverstone, but I felt that I had a decent pace, and we crossed the line in 1:26.427, which isn't all that good. On my second try, I've picked up my pace a bit, and that is a 1:25.958. This is the fastest of my session, even though the weather had cleared towards the end and the track temperature went up as well.
Hello there. Welcome to Great Britain for round 10 of the 2002 FIA Formula One World Championship. The weather, as so often is the case here, is just wonderful. Michael Schumacher consistently outpaced his championship rival. He starts first. Juan Pablo Montoya second. Raikkonen third. Coulthard fourth. Button was consistently faster than his teammate. He starts fifth. Barrichello sixth. Schumacher seventh. Heidfeld eighth. Jacques Villeneuve ninth. Fisichella 10th. Irvine 11th. Frentzen 12th. Massa 13th. Webber 14th. Sarlo 15th. Sato 16th. Olivier Panis 17th. De La Rosa 18th. The Renault driver 19th. Bernaldi 20th. Alan McNeish 21st. Jung 22nd.
So here we are on the grid. We are starting from 19th. Michael Schumacher is in pole. Montoya is second. Button is fifth. We have Olivier Panis right in front of us. Lights are out and we're off to a slow start. But Jenson Button immediately gets into some trouble, and that doesn't sound good. We pass McNish, who jumped us on the start. Next is Panis as I carefully make my way out of Cops. We are now approaching the Maggots Beckett's Chapel complex as I have a look on the inside of Panis, but I decide to hold my position for the moment. I don't want to take any unnecessary risks. Not yet at least. But we're now coming out of Chapel and onto the Hangar Straight. I get a good run on Panis and we are through. Now for another look at the start. A little bit of wheel spin there despite using launch control. And it looks like Alex Yoong is stuck on the grid. I wonder what happened there. I don't think we had anyone stuck on the grid yet this season. Oh well, as I try to make my way past McNish. That was relatively easy. But now let's focus on our teammate. Once again he gets a very good start. Unfortunately Raikkonen doesn't, and Button ends up hitting the McLaren. I think this is the second time Button hits Raikkonen at the start, and we're now on board with Alex Yoong, who is helplessly watching everyone get away from the grid except for him. That's a bit sad really. Anyway, we are just about to pass Mika Salo, but he is having none of it. Bernoldi also overtakes me, just to end up crashing into the Toyota of Mika Salo. And there are wings flying all over the place. I rarely get a front row seat to stuff like this. I usually just hear about them. Anyway, here's a replay. We are coming into Abbey. I have a look at Salo on the inside. He picks up speed. So does Enrique Bernoldi. Salo then tries to get back on the racing line. He doesn't notice that Bernoldi is right there and they crash. Kind of a hectic first lap this one. We are now about to pass Massa, but as Button prepares to go into the pits to replace his front wing, Massa slams into the rear of Button's Renault, breaking the rear wing as well. So that means that Button is out of the race, and from my angle it looked like that was Massa's fault, as I nearly end up crashing into the minority of Mark Webber. Oh man, that was one crazy first lap. And now for some replays. First up, we have Webber in the minority. He is closing in on the damaged McLaren of Raikkonen, hits him from behind and loses his front wing. And we're now focusing on Massa as we come out of the tight right-hander. Massa steps on the gas, Button slows down so he can turn onto the pit lane. Massa keeps his momentum and ends up crashing into my teammate. Well, I guess they were both kind of at fault there. Both of them should have been a bit more careful, but with Button out, all the pressure falls onto me to deliver a good race here at the team's home Grand Prix. Let's just hope I am up for the task. And I mount the curb here at Stowe and it spins me around. Luckily it was a full 360, and luckily there were no walls to crash into. So despite losing valuable seconds, we are still in one piece. And that is good. Okay, so we are now chasing after Irvine, who is around 6 seconds off the road, and I'm not entirely sure what I was thinking here, but I dipped my entire left side into the grass that offsets the balance of the car and sent me flying into the barrier on the right, breaking both my wings. The team is not going to be happy about this, so here we are coming in to replace our wings, and since we are here, we might as well change our tires and top up on fuel. I'm not too happy of how this race is going on at the moment, and almost 40 seconds later, we are ready to rejoin the race. This has set us back quite a bit, so we need to focus. There's very little chance of winning, but we might still be able to score a point or two. And Mark Webber is out. I wonder what happened. And here we have Mark Webber in his minority. He's coming into the Maggots Beckett's Chapel complex. He reaches Beckett's, and just as he's turning in for Chapel, his car suddenly spins around. To me, that looks consistent with a brake failure. But I guess we'll have to find out at the end. So that's both the minorities out of the race, as I am now coming up on one of the Williams drivers and the arrows of Frentzen. They are one lap ahead of me, and I will attempt to unlap myself. Why? Because I know I can do it, plus it's the only way to get back into the action. We are now side by side with Montoya, outbrake him into Abbey. I make slight contact with Frentzen. He cuts the track. I then have a look on the inside through bridge, outbrake him into Priory. Next is the Ferrari of Rubens Barrichello, but Frentzen gets back in front of me and immediately brakes hard, catches me completely off guard, and that's going to be another trip into the pits. Damn it. And here is a replay. I'm trying to get around Heinz-Harald Frentzen. I outbrake him but go wide. Then he gets back in front of me and brakes way too early. I really wasn't expecting him to brake that early. I would have waited for at least another half a second, maybe even more. So here we are coming into the pits again. Luckily, replacing the front wing is a quick job. As I kind of mess up my stop there. I am taking on some more fuel, and I'm also changing my tires. Maybe it will help. A fresh set of rubber should be better than a used set. So we'll have to see how it goes. And I guess it's safe to say at this point that there's little chance of scoring points today. This is just seconds after we have left the pit. I enter the S's, take a bit too much of the curbing, that unsettles the car and I'm spinning and sliding out of control again. And I was so lucky I lost most of my speed, otherwise we might have had to make another trip to the pits, as I am being lapped by a few cars. This is so frustrating. I've just passed the Jordan and unlapped myself in regards to him, as I am being informed of an incident somewhere on the track. I am now looking to unlap myself in regards to the BAR, and I'm through. But I haven't learned my lesson yet. Anyway, here's a replay as we see Montoya coming out of the pits. He rejoins the track, Ralf Schumacher is right behind, he doesn't notice or doesn't care, and that will cost him dearly as he will now have to retire. Well, it doesn't have to, but the AI always retires if it loses the rear wing. Yes, it takes a long time to replace it, but I don't think that should be a reason to quit the race. I mean, back in the early days it took several minutes just to put on new wheels. Refueling was done manually and it also took significantly longer than today, but these are the 50s and 60s I'm talking about. Anyway, we are now coming up on Enrique Bernoldi, who is having gearbox problems, He barely leaves me any room for bridge. I end up using too much of the curbing and go for another spin. That was so close. You know, damaged cars should just pull over and let you through. Instead, they stick to the racing line and are being quite a pain. Finally, we're through. We've just started a new lap and we're coming into Cops, where again I take too much of the curb and go for another spin. This really isn't my day. And there goes my front. This race couldn't have gone any worse even if I wanted it to. Let's try to pull ourselves together, shall we? No front wing means no front downforce, which means the car doesn't want to turn, which means that I once again lose my rear wing. Bloody brilliant. So we're once again coming into the pits. At this point I was very angry with myself and I lose control of the car once again, slam into the barrier, and I'm actually surprised I still have my wheels at this point. But look at my wheel geometry. 40 seconds later we are ready to continue the race. You know, at this point a normal person would probably just give up, but not me. There's no point in continuing. Everyone has lapped me, but I still want to at least finish the race. And that's about all I will be able to accomplish today, as I feel that I'm a lot slower than I was earlier, and the car really doesn't feel right. Steering feels quite weird, and it doesn't seem to want to go too fast either. Anyway, let's finish the race, shall we? Coming into so a few laps later, I was informed of an incident on the track, and did you see how much I had to turn the wheel just to make that corner? I was almost at full lock. And here is a replay of Takuma Sato. I'm using the Swingman camera because the trackside one is a fixed one and doesn't follow the car. But Sato turns in for Abby, but then gives up and goes straight off the track and into the gravel trap. And there we can see smoke coming out of the car. A bit unfortunate for him, and slightly fortunate for us, since we will take that position once we unlap ourselves in regards to Takuma Sato. But from here I'll take it easy because I don't think I can put up with another crash. And here we are coming into Woodcut for one final time in 2002. It's not great, but at the very least we've finished the race. I think we are in 13th. That was not a good race. Entertaining perhaps, good, far from it. And knowing what is coming up, this is not what we needed, because I know that we'll absolutely struggle in the next race. I really have no idea what happened. I don't know why my driving was so bad today. I mean, I know I'm not good, but this is very bad, even for me. Anyway, enough rambling. Let's instead look at the championship tables.
Well, that's the end of a fantastic British Grand Prix. Here are the final results. Schumacher first. Coulthard second. Heidfeld third. Barrichello fourth. Fisichella fifth. Jacques Villeneuve sixth. The Renault driver 13th. With the results confirmed, it's high time we updated the Drivers' Championship. The Renault driver first.
So we are still in the lead of the Drivers' Championship with 59 points, just 9 points over second place Michael Schumacher with 50 points. Montoya is third with 38 points, Coulthard fourth with 30 points, in fifth we have Raikkonen with 25 points, Ralf Schumacher is sixth with 13 points, in seventh we have Jensen Button with 11 points, Heidfeld is eighth with 8 points, Fisichella and Barrichello share ninth with 7 points, Eddie Irvine is 10th with 5 points, Frentzen is 11th with 3 points, 12th is De La Rosa with 2 points, and Villeneuve is 13th with 1 point.
Renault still lead the Constructors' Championship, but with a reduced points advantage. Ferrari are second, whilst third place is held by McLaren.
Our team continues to lead the Constructors' Championship with 70 points, Ferrari are second with 57 points, McLaren are third with 55 points, in fourth we have Williams with 51 points, Sauber are fifth with 8 points, Jaguar and Jordan are sixth with 7 points, Arrows are seventh with 3 points, and BAR are eighth with 1 point. Words cannot describe how disappointed I am in my performance today, especially since this was our team's home Grand Prix, but I guess the pressure got to me once Button retired. although that's probably not a good excuse for bad driving. Anyway, our next race is the French Grand Prix, and despite it not being our home Grand Prix, it is still an important race, since I am pretty sure that the guys from Renault will want to see us at the very top of our performance, so we will have to try and deliver. But until next time, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, stay sharp.